Hello everyone, welcome to my review on the PMDG 737-800. I mean, surely not every aircraft is worth every penny by PMDG. Today we're going to determine, is the 737-800 worth the $70 price tag? And overall, just how good is it? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we are here on the ground at Baltimore, and we're going to take a look at the overall realism of this aircraft. Now, from my understanding, based on the research I've done on it, it is quite realistic. Including stuff like having to manually set the cabin pressure over here, and having to manually switch over the power. Right, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that. However, it is true to real life, supposedly. Now, the things you may notice that your PMDG 737-800 might not have is this. This here is just simply to help get the landing lights on automatically, or within one button here. So there you go. Now, there's a very easy way to do this. Now, just from my understanding, this here is a relatively old feature that they discontinued on the real 737s. They turned it into a single switch, from my understanding. But it is going to be here in the PMDG setup. Probably, I think it's under the aircraft options here. So yeah. So let's talk about fuel here for a second. There are a few ways to fill this thing up. However, just to start off, it is very important to note you cannot do it through the weight and balance little toolbar up here that is built into the sim. You can see I am trying to set it to like 12% here. I'm trying to set it to 70. It will stay at 54% or whatever fuel level it currently has. Now, there is one way to do this via SimBrief, and then you just come in here to the FMC and load everything in, set your payload to your fuel. Another way you can do it is by hitting this little menu button. It'll come up to the screen here. Come over here into FS Actions and hit Fuel, and then you have a few presets, whether that be 1/3 filled, 2/3 filled, or just straight up full. But once again, you are unable to do it through the weight and balance tab here. Okay, so we are here on runway 28 at Baltimore, and we are ready to put our flaps out. Usually you do this while you're taxiing or while you're holding for taxi. The flaps indication is over here. That's different compared to other aircrafts like the 747 or the PMDG 777. And yes, so let's go. I have it in for flaps 5 here, and I have some wing views set. And if you'll give it a moment, these flaps will eventually start moving. Now, one of the things I am going to point out, and this is the same, and this is the thing I've noticed a bit more recently, and I also noticed it in the 777. So we have flaps 5 out now. At least that's what our little indication is telling us. However, I'm going to put out flaps full now, right? And so you can see that that's going to move, and you're going to notice here that the flaps aren't like really moving at all. At least not here with the sim here. And just bring back up to 5 here. I mean, they give you the sounds, but they don't exactly give you the visuals. That is just something to keep in mind. Anyway, once you're back at flaps 5, we are good for takeoff. We have the course set, we have the runway heading set, and I have already performed all of our checks. I have our landing lights on and everything. So we're sitting at flaps 5 now, and the main thing I want you all to watch for or listen for are the noises. And so I'm going to tune up the volume all the way here, just so y'all can listen to these noises. Alright, cleared for takeoff. Takeoff power set. ignore the thing.
knots.
80 knots check.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Positive rate of climb gear coming up. Okay, flaps up. And I'm going to say that that was quite successful. I mean, that certainly was not the most perfect takeoff in the whole world, but that was still quite good. Now I want you to notice the sounds for a reason, because the sounds are alright. I think that for the flight deck sounds, they are decent. However, one of the things that Mr. RSR from PMDG has said he is working on is improving the sounds across at least the 777 products. However, I also believe that he's probably going to help out the sounds, especially the engine sounds of the 737 lineup. Okay, so as we are coming in on short final here, please pay attention to the RA callouts and to the engine noises as you wish. And please don't try to judge my landing too much, because I know it's going to be bad.
$1,000. Approaching minimums. 300. Minimums.
Continue.
Sync rate.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, so as of the time of recording this, the PMDG 737 is currently only on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Now we're looking here on the forum here, because that's where this guy, the RSR, Rodonzo, posts his updates. And then you can see here he has not currently put a date on when it is going to be released. However, one of the things I do expect to be consistent with is that it will be released free of charge to all of those pre-existing users for the Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 upgrade. Now let's go ahead and quickly talk about the Operations Center. So, as of the time of recording this might change tomorrow, this might change in the coming days, OC3 has been released. However, the PMDG 737-800 is still not yet in it, which means unfortunately you do have to go through the long install process of getting your email, putting in your license key, and using the Operations Center V2. Now, once again, like with the 777, you do get all of these wonderful pre-made liveries, mainly by PMDG, of course. Actually, I'm not really seeing any in here that are not by PMDG. However, these are all super easy to install. You just have to hit install. It'll automatically install these liveries. And of course, you can always get your own liveries from like flightsim.to and put them into your Microsoft Flight Sim community folder. Just a quick note about Operations Center V3. I will put a pinned comment in the description once the 737-800 is available for install via OC3. Now, one of the things to note about OC3 though is that you will not have to put in the license key or anything. Just purchase the product on the PMDG website and it will automatically show up here in OC3. Now, this all begs the question of, is this aircraft worth it? And in order to answer that question, you need to determine, are you the kind of simmer who likes the 737 in general? My suggestion to find that out is go into the new Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 and fly the default 737 MAX 8. And if you end up enjoying that, even in the slightest of ways, then yeah, this is probably going to be a good aircraft for you. Personally, I'm not the biggest 737 fan, so I mean, personally, this aircraft doesn't get that much use. However, it is a nice little addition to the hangar. Now, to answer the question of, is this an absolute scam? Is this an absolute waste of money? Absolutely not, though. I mean, the PMDG really put in a lot of effort, and I mean, it's really nice. It is a really nice aircraft to fly once you get it working. I mean, once again, it's just really not for me. However, it definitely isn't a scam. And if you take a look at how much effort PMDG put into this aircraft, it is worth every penny. Okay, everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed this little 737 review here. I found it quite interesting to make. Now, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, please. However, if you didn't really enjoy it, please do not hit the like button. I'd just like to mention that the like button should be there in order to give viewers who might be crossing over this video through a search or something like that this is a good video to watch regarding the topic. This is an informational video. This is a kind of video that is worth my time. I did not make a single penny off any of this, and PMDG did not pay me at all in order to make any of this content. In fact, they probably don't even know that I'm making this content. However, once again, everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. Our next one is probably going to be the Phoenix Airbus series of aircraft, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.